The purpose of this video is to teach you to enter data and process it and make graphs using Excel. So first thing is we have a time in seconds and a distance in meters. And you can see that that's too long, so you take the mouse and you move it so that it's between the two columns and move it over, and so that the whole distance thing will fit. And then time in seconds again, because we're going to do two trials, and distance in meters again. And I'm going to move the column over to click somewhere else, and then move the column over. You need that double arrow in order for this to work. So time 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and then I'm going to copy and paste that over into the other time because it's the same times for both. Then I want to find out how the graph will change if the velocity is doubled. So we're going to calculate the distance using velocity times time. So when you want to do a calculation in Excel, you click on a cell and you tell it the equal sign. The equal sign tells the computer, okay, what's following next is going to be a calculation. Now, in the lab instructions for the Tumble Buggy Lab, it asks you to find your average velocity for your car. I'm going to make up that I had a car that was going, say, 46 centimeters per second. But you may have a car that went a different amount. So you don't enter the centimeters per second because this is just like using a calculator. And then the asterisk means times. So that's the velocity. And then I'm clicking on the 5 because that's the time. Those are seconds. And then hit enter. Now I'm going to click on that first number again. And do you notice how the cross changes to a hollow plus sign when I move the mouse over the lower right-hand corner of the data cell? Did you see what happened? It does the calculation for you if you do that. So this one, I want to double the velocity. So I'm hitting equals because it's a calculation. 46, I'm going to double the velocity, so times 2, and then times the time. And hit enter. And then come back and use the plus sign. There's the hollow cross. Move it over the right-hand lower corner of the data cell and drag it down. And there we go. Now, then I want to enter a graph. So I'm going to go to the Insert menu and then go over to Charts and click on the scatter plot. And then I want the first one. So I have this distance highlighted, but I really don't want that. So now I'm going to right-click in the center of the graph area. Those three little icons show up, this plus sign, the paintbrush, and a sign that looks like a funnel. So click on the lower icon. You're clicking on the plus sign first, and we want that to say axes, chart title, and grid lines. So I guess that's the default. Then we're clicking on the chart filters, and I want to tell it to select the data, because all it's doing right now is arbitrarily assigning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 instead of graphing the 5, 10, 15, 20. So I'm going to select the data, And you want to deselect whatever is checked. So if there's 2 or 3 things checked here, you want to deselect anything that's checked. Then click on Add. And you have to call it something. So we're going to hit the equal sign and a quote mark and call this distance versus time. And then close the quote. For the series x value on the x-axis, I want there to be time. So do not highlight the time, just highlight the 5, 10, 15, 20. And notice I clicked on that series x values so that I had the cursor in that spot. And then I clicked and dragged on the time. And that gave me this bit of gobbledygook here. For the y-axis, I'm going to want the distance. So I'm going to get rid of what's here and click and drag on the distance. And lo and behold, I have a graph. And but we're still not done yet. So now we're going to add another one. This one we're going to call equals, quote marks, distance versus time 2. On the x-axis, I want that 5, 10, 15, 20. Those are seconds. Oh. No, I know what I did wrong. I didn't click on the lower thing, so we're getting rid of this, trying again. You want to do that in the series x values, so that the mouse has to be clicked where it says series x values. And then we're highlighting and letting it pick that. For the y-axis, I want distance, so I'm getting rid of this thing that says it's going to count by ones. I'm going to click over here and drag down. And now I have 2 lines. Tell it OK. And then click OK to get out of that menu. Now, go back to where it says Add Chart Element. And I want there to be a trend line. So there's the trend line, and I want it to be linear. We're going to first do it on the first graph. I want it to state the equation for the line. So I'm going to click on the line itself, and a little window should show up. Oh, only when I'm trying to make a video, it's not working. There we go. When you do this and it says Format Trend Line, you do want to make sure that Trend Line Options is selected. So that means you're clicking on the bar graph. If it says anything else but Trend Line Options and it says linear already, we're going to go scroll down to where it says Display Equation on Chart. And there it is. That's the equation for the line. And notice that the slope is what I put in for the velocity earlier. Okay, now I'm going to do it again. I'm going to add chart element. I'm going to tell it I want the trend line. I want it linear. Nope, didn't do it. Linear. This one I want on the second data set. Okay. I want why does it say format trendline label? I want to format the trendline label. Try again. add chart element, trend line, linear, for distance versus time 2, tell it OK. Need to click on this line. Well, I don't know. There it goes. Trend line, format trend line. And if it doesn't say trend line option there, you click on this triple bar graph thing so it will say trend line options. And then I'm scrolling down so that it says display the equation on the chart and tell it OK or return. Now there's the equation right there. Okay. Now I'm not quite done. Oh, I skipped something. I want, this is in step 9. Click on add chart element again. This time I want axis titles. And I'm going to click on the horizontal. And I'm going to do it again, add chart element, axis titles, primary vertical. I also want add chart element, a chart title above the chart. So now I can go in and type in that this is time. Notice it didn't change where it says axis title, but there's a spot where I can see where I typed time, and this is seconds. And then I'm going to click on axis title and call this distance and meters. When I hit return, it changes what it says there. And the chart title I'm going to call distance versus time. Okay. I want to have borders around the numbers in my chart. So I'm going to highlight the numbers in the data table, and I'm going to go over to format cells. It should be able to do it right here where it says font. If you click on that and tell it that you want all borders, that will work. You can always also go over here to where it says format cells, and there's a spot that gives you the ability to put borders. Okay, I think we're done. Now, there are some things, if you are just going to copy and paste this and put it in a lab that you're not going to print out, that works. The other thing that you can do is, if you're using a laptop and you want to print, you need to save this to OneDrive or OneNote, and then go to a desktop computer. Those are hooked to the printer, and you can print from a desktop. Or email it to yourself as an attachment. Now, other things, if you are going to print this, you want to go to, on the left, click on the page layout button, and then click on headers and footers. Okay, I'm going to highlight this. And, oh, we're almost done. We're going to highlight this and tell it orientation. We want this to be a landscape view. I don't know where the headers and footers are. Where are we? Insert, there we go. Insert, and nope, it's not there yet. Okay, let me tell me what I want to do. Header. And you want to type in, if you're printing, it needs to have your name on it. So